Okay, welcome to another Social and Recreation Committee meeting for Highlands Reserve. Thank you all for coming here tonight. Oh, looks like we got our fitness committee members coming in right now too, which is perfect because we're going to talk about a gym enhancement project that we've been working on. So anyways, I'll wait until they get in here and we'll do our committee roll call and then we'll move on to what are really like three major areas of focus for us. And if at any point you have any questions, you just raise your hand or just ask it really anytime.
You start with us?
Yeah, you landed right at the 5-minute mark. So
Yeah,
I was just going to do member roll call, so you made it just in time.
Okay.
So where everyone? All right, so I'll start with myself, Danny. We also have Dottie. Christina is new, but she's joining us tonight. And Carrie, Sarah, Joanna, and Billy. And that's it for tonight. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the open items. And we're going to start with the one that's coming up soonest, which is our patriotic potluck pool party, which is a fun alliteration that Michael came up with. This is his brainchild, and I'm excited to see how this all plays out, considering how well the last party went. Just another opportunity for our community to come together, utilize an amazing pool we have, food that we still have, and yeah, I mean, we purchased a lot, so we were really prepared for what was going to be a big bash. And I think it was, but the rain hindered, I think, some people showing up.
Did you guys grill that thing too?
What's that? Yeah, we grilled.
Now, did they end up buying that big grill?
No, we borrowed actually. So Michelle, our president, owned her grill, which is the famous grill everybody sees on Halloween.
Okay.
They're always cooking on their street that night.
Yeah, because I know that part of the initial, improvements for the clubhouse were going to be, like a grill and things that the members could use for social gatherings, and I just wasn't sure if they had done.
Yeah, we wanted to test out just the whole setup. Like, is grilling the best way to go? Do we do food truck? So we went back and forth, if you remember, on whether or not.
Barbecuing is always
I know. And it really was. It was like it worked out well because Michael enjoyed grilling. I think we have others who would enjoy it too. So if he wasn't around for that, we have others who would do it. No, not Dottie. Danielle just joined us too. So all right, this is great. I was just going to jump into the new party. So patriotic potluck pool party. So this is a patriotic theme based off of the recent 4th of July celebrations. Just this month in general seems to be more about like Independence Day, and that was the theme we wanted to play off of. So we're inviting people to come dressed in like red, white, and blue, or however they see fit for, celebrating America, I guess, and having fun at a pool party and being part of this neighborhood. And then in lieu of that, on top of that is also, this is a potluck party, so that means we're inviting people to bring some food items, some drink items, share if you want, or just enjoy it with your, friends, family, however you choose. There's no pressure for this, but this is just to make it a little more fun. And
What's the date of that one?
that is actually going to be July 20th, so 2 weekends from now, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, we have a little bit of a checklist here. Like I said, this is a simpler party than it was last time in that we don't have a vendor, like we don't have an ice cream vendor as of right now. We are looking though to maybe invite Mr. Softy to come that day. They were invited for the last one, but that didn't work out with Carvel being here. So I'm going to reach out to them and just see if they can join for that day. But either way, yeah, that would be a nice little addition. If somebody wants to get ice cream from them, they can. And I think the other thing was, well, we're going to have a lifeguard, but we're not going to need 2 for this party. We had a lifeguard and a pool monitor. But the pool monitor was really watching the slip and slide and the bounce house. We're not having a bounce house this time around either. So with that being said, it's going to be a little easier in terms of like less vendors. And everything is pretty much copy paste from last time. So I'm just going to go through the checklist real quick. I was going to do this, but Courtney wasn't able to be here tonight. Brian wasn't able to be here tonight. Neither was Michael. So I'm just going to share this all again when it starts to get a little closer, just so we can confirm everything. But we should have most of this already. Sign-in sheets and pens, that's easy. That's really, I don't don't know if it's as necessary for this party, but it's good to know who came, right?
Are they gonna RSVP for it?
No RSVP required for this one. That was really more so for the Corvette truck. Just we wanted to get a minimum head count at least. Okay. Grill, propane tanks, cooking gear, all of that we still have. So we're borrowing the grill again. Food, snacks, beverages, we really have all of that. And like I said, this is a potluck party, so people can bring two, which is going to make it a little bit more enjoyable. There'll be more options. And if somebody has a specialty, they can kind of show that off as well. Coolers and ice, we've got that covered. Plates, napkins, utensils. I don't know the inventory on that, but I'm sure Courtney will look into that and make sure that we have enough for this party. Tables and chairs we have, canopies. I had mentioned before you guys got here, but we have 2 new canopies that Michael purchased at Ollie's at a great deal. So now I think we have maybe 4 or 5 canopies that Highlands Reserve owns in total. We had, I think, 5 out there, so that's the perfect number, I believe, just in terms of space and coverage.
Now, do they have the weights and everything to go with them, just so they don't get blown away in the wind?
How did they do that? There wasn't a wind issue that I was aware of that day, even if I think there was some wind because of the weather, but I don't know. I think it was like sandbags or something like that for some of them.
Because I used to do green markets,
Okay.
and I bought a, this would be a lot to store, but a PVC fence post,
Okay.
okay? Cut them into 4 sections and filled them up with cement and attached them to each leg.
Okay.
You know, that's
So they were just wrapped around the post.
well, they were. I took an. At Home Depot, they sell these things that you drill into the ground for dogs. Okay, so I put that in there because it was a spiral and I knew it wasn't going to pull out.
Okay.
And so I would attach it to the piece at the top that looked like a triangle, and just attach it to the post. And mine never blew away.
That sounds like a fun little do-it-yourself project.
Yeah.
Should I make you lead on that?
But they do sell like weights that you can stick on the bottom of them. They look like little weight plates, but they have
Yeah.
a groove in them that's just big enough to fit to go over the post.
I'm curious to know what the wind is like just in the pool area, because I think we have a lot of blockage with hedges and stuff, but I don't know.
It all depends on the direction.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so we have some more canopies now that we can use in the future, and we'll use for this one. Games. So we had a lot of great games out there. I played the axe throwing thing, which was pretty fun, and I saw a lot of other people playing it too. We had Jenga, which was really popular towards the later end of it.
The big Jenga.
2 sets. Yeah, 2, like one large one, one medium one. That was really fun. I think what we learned for that is setting the table in a certain position because it was angled initially. So Jenga was already a difficult game and it became more difficult. But we have some good games. What I wanted to think through though is having games here in this area because I saw a lot of people hanging out in the clubhouse. And they were chatting, which was great, so everybody was kind of bonding and stuff. But I thought it'd be fun to have other games in here for kids who maybe didn't want to be outdoors, say it was too hot, we wanted to break. So we had those just set up, and I mean, I have a ton of games at home I could bring in, but I'm sure we can have some here. I don't know if there's any in the bookshelf, but something to think about and add for this time that we didn't have last time. Speakers, microphone, music, we had all of that. I'm going to touch base with Silvano because he did a fantastic job as DJ. His playlist was great. If you could do that again, awesome. If not, I have a ton of playlists. I could just pop one on. Basically, it was Bluetooth with speakers. We're good to go. One thing I wanted to maybe add though, and I don't know if it's necessary, but having an extra Bluetooth speaker inside. So if people are hanging out here, they can hear the music as well. Just something. I think actually Silvano had one, but I don't know if he set it up in here or not, so I'll have to check on that. Okay, snow cone machine and ingredients. So there's a little switch on this. We actually rented the snow cone machine from the Bounce House company last time. We're not doing that this time. What Courtney's gonna do, she actually found that exact snow cone machine for a great deal on Amazon. But I told her to hold until Prime Day to see if there's a deal. So she's actually gonna wait because it's a 2-day Amazon delivery. And if we can get it for a really good
Trying
deal.
days next week, yeah.
Yeah, we'll own a snow cone machine and we already have a ton of ingredients and all the cups and everything. So just a great thing to have for all our parties in the future. Popcorn machine we have, bags, ingredients. I don't even think we used it that day, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, we had it set up, but we had so much going on, I don't think it became an item that we needed. So for this one, we might. It'd be good just to kind of get one going and see if people enjoy some popcorn. Trash receptacles, extra bags, we got all that. Pool toys, accessories. I left a ton of stuff behind here. There's a lot in the closet too. And fully stocked bathrooms and all that stuff. George did a great job getting that all prepared and everything. We have one lifeguard, like I mentioned, and I talked about the inside stuff for the clubhouse. So that's about it. Like I said, pretty much a copy and paste from last party. The only thing that I want to try and work out is the volunteers who are going to be here that day who can help out. Just show of hands. Does anyone know if they're going to be here that day, at least for the party?
I'll be on shift, so if you want to come, you can come.
I can.
Yeah? All right, thank you.
Maybe possibly won't be here, but Gray said he's got an option in the morning, but he can come in the afternoon and help clean up or whatever he needs.
Okay.
We'll also give our cooler the white so we can load it up, because we have that big, massive one.
Right. Yeah, that'd be great. Really, the biggest help was set up and clean up. Like I said, though, I think setup's gonna be a little bit easier this time around because we just did that one party, so we know how to set it up. George
Is he gonna
usually.
do the same menu? Is he gonna have the?
Yeah, so it's gonna be the.
Tomatoes and all the
Yep.
condiments?
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be that barbecue of burgers and dogs, and we're going to have the sort of vegetarian options for those who want it. I think we still have leftovers for that. All the buns, fixings. So yeah, and that setup was great. They did it in that back gazebo or
Yeah.
covered area, and I thought that was a good spot for that. And then we had the front area here for like music and games and all that stuff. So like I said, I think it all worked out really well. If at this party we decide, you know what, maybe there's something better, we can try that next time. This is all just us, kind of progressing as we, have each experience. But yes, so for the volunteers, set up and clean up, there was just a great job all around for making this whole thing work. So I'll work it out with you guys online, like email and stuff. We'll just find out who's all here. But I think we'll get enough. I'm going to ask again in the neighborhood, like who can help out. If anybody's watching this, we need volunteers. It really makes the party that much better. So yeah, we'll get that taken care of. Okay. Any questions, comments, thoughts for the potluck party? No? Okay. Awesome. Let's move on. Next up is Tot Lot and Community Rec Area Development. So, some progress updates. We, and by we, it was Danielle, myself, Brian, and Courtney met one of the reps from Miracle Recreation at the actual area that we're considering. And he came out, he looked at the space we had out there. We kind of reviewed his initial diagram that he shared with us. If you haven't seen it, it's in the WhatsApp chat, but it's also in the Drive folder. So if anybody ever just wants me to email it to him, I can do that too. But his initial concept was great. It matched what was at Egret Landing. And then we decided, all right, we saw the numbers. We want to try and scale back to what we believe we need, not like we want everything, because initially that was kind of how we approached this. But now we kind of know, all right, here are the priority components for the play unit, and we can consolidate the main center unit and then add some independent little kind of like features. One key feature that I think would be great is just like a balance beam of some kind, like a curvy one or a zigzag one, where kids can kind of walk and challenge themselves. Climbing features are always great, and the slides, things like that. So what I did was, and I wanted to show them here, but like I said, I had trouble connecting to our TV. I put a list together. I can share that list with all of you after this meeting. In there are links to their website of the actual component items, so you can see what it is. I'd love to get everyone's thoughts, whoever wants to help out with this. And from there, I'm going to share just our component list, which is not specific items, it's just types of items, with the other two vendors who initially gave us proposals on like their unique items. See what they say, what they can put together. And then the fourth option, so we have three vendors. The fourth is going to be a do-it-yourself version of this, which is where we're going to try and find like a civil engineer or a contractor, construction company of some kind, bring our own companies together and piecemeal the project. So we're thinking if we could do it that way, we might actually get better pricing going direct suppliers and vendors and things like that. We can design it how we want, and it might make it a little bit easier to just kind of get it done, I think, in the way that we want versus the way that these vendors do it. We also want to see what that's going to look like with the numbers. So this was a great suggestion Brian had come up initially. We started thinking it through, but we haven't actually made any progress on who's going to be part of the do-it-yourself version. So, like I said, we got great information. We're now using that information to try and develop what we think is going to be a great playground for that particular area. By the way, when we were out there, it actually looked pretty cool because we have this giant oak tree there that already provides a ton of shade. So one of the things we would have to do is to trim that up, give it a bit of height. But we might be able to utilize that for maybe a bench or rest area for the parents. And then you have the adjacent little like open space. That's where the unit would go. We're looking right now at mulch companies for common area mulching, and we're asking them about potentially doing the mulching inside the playground unit for what would be regulation mulch. I think there's a certain type for playgrounds, but all of them seem to be really receptive to doing that, and they have the mulch. So we're trying to combine the two while we're doing it. Other than that, the area out there, when we're talking about sort of development, the major focus is the top lot because it's already an asset that we're not using, but we also want to look towards building a basketball court. And just for fun, while I was riding around with one of the mulch companies, is I counted all the basketball hoops in our community. And I came up with 56 hoops, which is pretty good. Brian said that I think it was like 17 or 18% of the homes have a basketball hoop, which says that that's a popular thing in this neighborhood. I think that court, if we build one there, is going to get used all the time. And I know your son's always playing.
Yeah,
those,
I know.
so.
He doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And when he breaks 6, he shatters it every once in a while, and then he goes over to him.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd love to see it work, but
Yeah. So,
I know the basketball court at the gym is always packed.
yeah.
long
And we
spring
can,
plus
we want to do it
one.
where it's like the long ends have the regulation hoops and the two sides kind of branch out like little wings for smaller hoops so smaller kids can play.
So are you gonna take up part of where the tennis courts are or create a whole new area?
It would be the area beyond the tennis courts where it's
That,
now.
that big open field?
Mhm. Yep. And I laid out what was just kind of a general bird's eye view of how that would all fit. I don't know if my measurements are accurate or not, but everyone we shared with seemed to think it was okay, that would work. So we're just going with that. Now we just have to figure out the logistics of it. So Brian, I believe, has a contact who might be able to actually fill in what would be the basketball court with cement, which is typically more expensive than asphalt. But because of the contact, because of the contact, we might actually have access to cement over asphalt for that particular project. But we're still looking to resurface the tennis courts, which is asphalt. So again, those are all the things we have to kind of see on paper and how each one is going to work best. So we're really in limbo with this project. It's just a matter of gathering more information, speaking with more vendors, and then once we have enough numbers to look at side by side, we can start to make some real decisions. So as of right now, we're just trying to make more progress with the information.
Just gotta keep in mind, asphalt might be like softer, like on the feet, but this time of year, it'll be about 150, 160 degrees.
Does it get hotter too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's like if you walk on the sidewalk and go from the sidewalk to the dark pavers are hotter than the sidewalk. Okay, and then go over to the street. If you literally go with a temperature gun from one to the other, in the middle of the day, that asphalt can get up to 140, 150 degrees easy.
Yeah. All right.
So
Yeah, cement is much nicer even if it doesn't match. I played a lot of basketball growing up. You definitely want cement outside.
the only thing you have to worry about with cement in reality is if you have a tree with an aggressive root system underneath it, it might make the cement eventually crack.
Yeah.
But if the area is prepped well and you don't have any massive trees that are going to disrupt the foundation, the cement will last forever.
Yeah, I think we're safe in that area. I didn't see any that were within even range of where we would build that out. So this could be really great. I mean, Brian's gonna get in touch with this guy, and he's gonna work out what would be maybe initial proposal for what that would cost, the size of the court and stuff.
Are we still doing pickleball too? Always have.
Yes, so thank you for bringing that up. So with pickleball, what But we saw at Egret, I don't know if you've seen it there, but they have these portable pickleball nets, and I had never seen that.
And you split off the tennis courts and pickleball.
That's right, so you can get 2 pickleball courts instead of 1 per tennis court.
Yeah.
And you can roll those off to the side at any time. I thought that was fantastic. So we basically have 4 pickleball courts, which yes, I do. My phone's-
But I mean, you can even look that up on Amazon. They got
yeah.
and then the setup is not that expensive.
Right. The other thing I would love to add to that tennis court is kind of a center little island with a cover for anyone who wants to set their stuff down.
Is there enough space between the courts to actually do that?
That's the only thing I don't know. I'm not sure.
If there's not, then you put it on the ends. But then you have to too.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It would be like half versions of that with a bench. Yeah. But either way, something where people don't have to set their stuff out in the hot sun. I think a lot of times when I was originally playing tennis, when I first moved here, people would set it under the bench outside of the court, or they would have like a jacket or some towel covering things. So that's how we did it. But like, if there was an option for people who could just set it down in the middle, and they can even get, you know, something from there, whether it's the tennis gear or something like that, it's much easier in the center of the court.
What might be a little more cost effective for you is taking the corners of the cover, just get those canvas shades that you can put over the corners, and just have maybe a couple small seats in the corners.
I just tie them up.
And yeah, and they're attached, and you know, so it'll provide shade in every corner.
Right, so no matter where the sun.
Yeah. So you know, you don't have to create a post and tent, because we already have the structure there.
That's a good idea. So like tennis tarp.
Yeah, because those actually work really well. I mean, if you've ever been over to Townies over on Martin Downs, they have that whole section, that whole seated section, which is nothing but those, with those canvas shades.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, we would repaint for 4 pickleball courts when we resurface the tennis courts to accommodate for what would be mobile nets, right? So something to consider, but I think we'll have to look up. I haven't looked up the numbers yet on what those cost to get 4 of them, but we could always start off with 2. Pickleball picks up in our community, we get 2 more. You know, it can be hard to paint on a new tennis surface, I imagine.
Well, you can always do the paint, and then worry about
The courts later.
the extra equipment later. If you have 2, whatever side's not being used,
Yeah, getting painted while they're being painted.
yeah,
Right.
you can use whichever court you want.
All right. So then the other big part of this project is once we have all that information, we're really clear on how we want to move forward. I want to get the key pieces of information into a presentation that we're going to share. So I don't know what the easiest way to do that would be. Maybe a PowerPoint. Courtney usually does PowerPoints. She might be able to actually help with this. So if I can get her each page, what it should look like, she can put that together for us. And then we will present that independently, and then we can present, for example, I want to talk about, and we'll do this in the end, but like other events, but actually having the full year already set up, like a full year calendar. And I think we can actually do that in like one good long meeting at the beginning of the year and say, every month, one event. If we want to sprinkle in some small things like movie nights, we can do that, but everything is already ready to go. It's just a matter of us getting organized that month for each one and set it and forget it. So that would be ideal, and I want to present that as well, but then we have the gem enhancement too, so that's going to have its own PowerPoint presentation. I want to make sure what we want to recommend to the board is front and center. It shows everything that we've gotten excited about, and we can kind of leave it from there. Feel really good about our work.
When is the meeting that you're supposed to have with the board?
That, we don't have that yet. It's supposed to be rescheduled. So we were thinking the end of this month.
When are we going to have the meeting with the board to discuss? Will they release funds for XYZ projects?
Yeah.
When is the fiscal year? When do you have to have the budget for the social committee?
That part of it. So what I do know is the main thing we're waiting on is the survey. So the survey is, I haven't gotten any word that it's actually come back, but I believe it's supposed to come back before the end of this month, and they actually had suggested maybe the beginning of this month because they were really moving on it. They have that. That is going to provide some information on what exactly did come back, but how we can start to now have that conversation with the company that did the survey. And I think at that point we can start to suggest, based on our numbers, if we're gonna do a basketball court, here's generally what it's gonna cost. Actually, what we wanna say is generally what it's gonna cost for that whole area. Generally what we would like to do, what it's gonna cost for the gym. At that point, we don't have to present the whole presentation, but we can give the numbers that we found through our research. And that will then help sort of guide the conversation about the survey and any adjustments that need to be made from the company's end. But after that meeting or whatever happens, there will be another meeting where we'll be able to present this with a breadth of time. So I don't want to try and squeeze this into a survey for the community meeting. I want us to have our own space as a committee to present this stuff, and I believe we will be able to do that. We'll just have to ask for them to create that meeting once the survey meeting is done. That's pretty much how I see it's going to go, which gives us a little bit of time to put this together and get everything in a row. So, any questions about the community rec area that I didn't cover?
What are we gonna do, or who is gonna be able to take away the current tot lot that we have? Is that's going away completely,
Yes.
right?
So,
Okay. Does that have to be like resodded and?
yeah, we would use our landscaping company to
Okay.
resod that area, or I don't know what we would do with it.
Cause I think it costs a decent amount of money to get rid of all this stuff.
Yes, demo was in the initial proposals we got from the first two top lot
Gotcha, okay.
vendors. All the vendors will do demo, they'll basically tear it down and take it away for us at a cost.
To
Now-
where we can actually get rid of it for free if we take it apart ourselves and just piecemeal it out and let waste management take it a little bit at a time.
And that is gonna be part of our do-it-ourselves version of this project. So if that ends up being something we can save a couple $1,000s on, then we should do it.
Because it's not gonna be that hard to take apart, you just call them up and say, hey, we have bulk items that need to be removed. And as long as it's not too much at one particular, I mean, they'll take refrigerators, couches, they'll take anything.
Yeah.
So, and in regard to putting one of those together, when I was a kid, we actually built the playground behind the school. The whole community just got together and just built it.
Wow.
And they built the entire thing in 2 days.
And how do you get,
Well, there was a contractor
okay,
who had everything set up and was running the project, and everybody just pitched in to put it
with
together.
manual labor?
Yes.
Okay.
They had the fire department there. They put up. It was a 24-hour project, and they did it in 2 days. Literally the playground was easily, the whole playground was as big as this clubhouse.
Wow,
It was huge. Yeah.
that's
It,
crazy.
it was all wood. It was all made out of recycled stuff. You know, the swings were recycled tires and all kinds of stuff. But it was huge. You know, and that was removing things and putting new stuff up for like steps and stuff like that for the back of the school. It was a huge project that literally took 48 hours to build.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
but that was a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if maybe there's more regulations.
Yeah.
No, well, as long as you have a contractor running the project, it doesn't matter where you get your labor because we're our own entity. So we can be an owner builder, and so we can do whatever we want on our own as long as it's the code. So
Okay.
you just need somebody there who knows the code.
All right, so we'll look into that. We'll see what, we'll have to get a contract.
But you got to get a bunch of people here to say yes, I can do that.
Right. Okay. Anyone else with the record area? No? All good? Okay. All right, let's move on to gym enhancement. Okay, so so my phone is there. I can't check my email right now, although I might be able to, but we were supposed to get our second proposal from Pro Fitness.
I was wondering if you got that because
So I got
we
it
asked
late.
a while ago.
I know. So he was going to get it to us actually Friday, and then I reminded him, or I let him know that we had a meeting tonight. So he pushed to get it to me today. He got me the layout today, and I believe he got me the proposal, which the layout I put in Drive, but I don't see it. I don't. Yeah, he did get me the proposal. So I will share with you guys the proposal. I'll
Yeah.
share with the committee.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you hadn't got one from me yet by this point, it's time to move on.
No, I have one.
Okay.
Yep, there it is. Okay. So I will share that with you guys. We can take a look at that. So we'll have now two.
And the one guy who I told you was too expensive, I think we might as well give him a shot to do something else. I'm waiting on one from him. But once again, if he doesn't get it by the time we're ready to start to make a decision, then if he's out.
That would be great, because to have the minimum of 3 would be,
Is a good idea.
for us to have, like, say, all right, apples to apples, this is what we're looking at.
I know he's gonna be expensive, but I just figured we might as well just let him do it anyway, and chances are we're not gonna use his proposal anyway, because of the price,
Sure.
you know, so,
Okay.
we'll see.
Great, appreciate you doing that. So, I'm trying to think, the other thing is, I think we came up with a general plan for construction there, right? We were gonna like just,
We're just gonna remove a section of the wall,
right,
and that's it.
yeah,
We weren't gonna go into the hallway at all, right?
correct,
I think so.
yeah, none of that.
So basically, my thought would be to just open up the wall, put whatever molding you have to do, move whatever electricity you have to do, and call it a day.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the door. Don't worry about doing anything with that. Just leave it alone, and just take out that wall. That would be the least expensive and the least invasive thing to do.
Okay,
And it won't necessarily, and it won't affect any appearance from out here.
right, right.
That's fine.
No, and I agree. The layouts that I saw, both the original one and this new one, it's nice to kind of look at that open area because you can see that it's actually going to be quite a walking space. So multiple people can walk through there.
So just take and remove it as much as you can. You know, don't turn around and sit there and say, oh, let's just try and make it a nice little, no. Take it out as far as it'll let you go.
Yeah. The other thing I was looking into for our gym, but also in here, is blinds. So all the windows are the same size in the gym and in here. So we had a company that I think did other blinds. I'm not sure where, but Courtney gave me that quote. And so what I want to do is I just want to mock up on the windows, like what blinds would look like in here.
And here's a weird question. I mean, is it easier to go to a company and have them do it? Or just go to Home Depot and get the blinds and put them up?
I was told that Home Depot is more expensive than a company that Courtney had
That's
found
possible.
to
I don't know.
use.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I just want to see because
Just hiring a company to come and put them in and just,
we wouldn't even have to do that. George would do it.
oh, okay.
Yeah. No, installation would be easy. It's just a matter of aesthetics.
Yeah,
So I don't know what color to do. I was thinking, I mean, it might be cool to have like dark blinds since the walls are white or light, but you know,
If you want them to match the trim, it should be white.
yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna keep the artwork that's sitting on the wall, that's the next thing that I look at, and I'm sure Daniel would agree with me.
No, I
You
agree.
know, if we're gonna change any of that, then we can talk about what color you wanna put
Right,
on
I wouldn't
that.
make that decision, I wouldn't even put blinds up until we know what we're
Yeah.
gonna change.
Okay.
Actually,
Then you might end up being like, doesn't match.
Yeah.
because actually what would be great, but it would be the most expensive thing would be plantation shutters.
What are those? Are those like the rock?
Yeah,
Those
They're
are the hard
expensive.
ones, but they still open up, but they put a frame around, they take out the windowsill and it's all framed in, and they look great, but they're very expensive.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
They last a long time. We've had ours custom to our house and they've lasted.
no, they'll last forever.
Yeah.
They'll last
It's
forever,
an
but
investment though. It's like-
they're very expensive. I
Yeah.
mean, very expensive. Like $20 a square foot or something like that. It's stupid.
I haven't agreed. I think cheaper blinds, nicer art. Trying to think if there's anything else that we're working on. Okay, so one thing I'll share is that Linda Clendenny, who's in our committee, she's actually put together a great spreadsheet that has different tabs for each project. And in there, like we're gonna be able to do side by side on the vendor. She's already inputting the numbers from the initial vendors per equipment and all of that stuff. And then she'll implement this new information, so we'll be able to really see that clearly. It's going to be the same thing with our vendors out in the top lot area too, and also with basketball courts. So she's just built the foundation of this spreadsheet, but once we get enough stuff in there, I'm going to start to, it'll be a live document. We'll just be able to look at it. We can input stuff regularly. That's, I think, when we're going to have a better understanding of all the stuff we've been talking about and working on. So as of right now, I think we've made a lot of good progress. I'm pretty happy with where we're at. And like I said, I think we have some buffer room with the delay of the survey and having to schedule a more particular meeting for us. So we should be able to get the presentation, the numbers. It's just a matter of staying on top of this stuff and getting the vendors out here, or at least in touch with them, so that we can get those numbers and be more accurate.
Yeah, we've been kind of just keeping the one gentleman informed, just in, Remember, you're dealing with an HOA and you just gotta wait for them to give the green light before we do anything.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Anything else, Jim wise?
No. I mean, there's stuff with the gym that I think that you guys wanna do that I don't think is necessary. Like, there's really no need to change the lights in the ceiling.
Okay.
You know, stuff like that. I mean,
Well, I think-
as long as you can see in there,
So-
that's what's important. You don't need, fluorescent lights are fine.
George, he has a long to-do list, but he said he's gonna clean the inside of these things, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
once he does, it's gonna look a lot nicer.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the thing that stands out when I'm laying on my back doing sit-ups, I can see stuff in there.
But the thing is, like I said, I mean, you can see the frame of the light.
Yeah,
And as long as that is just bolted up to the knockdown, then changing it to a smaller, more aesthetic light is no big deal. If the knockdown just goes up to those squares, trying to match that up, and it would actually look worse than leaving those
Not
up.
gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, you like I said, you look at the walls now in the gym,
yeah,
where they took down the wall and only had to do a strip this big, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
yeah.
That's the reason why I don't want to do the door, because in order to do the door properly, you literally have to redo the entire.
Yeah. I know, I agree.
So,
Okay. Alright, let's move on. So, new items. Like I said, I think it'd be really cool where we take maybe like a half day on a weekend, get a bunch of us together as a committee, and we go over 2025 social events. And we can use things that have already worked time-wise, we make the adjustments where we need to, but we say, this is what's gonna happen January, February, March, April, May. We let that calendar be visible by anybody, so you know what to anticipate and expect. And we can try and brainstorm each month's event. What are we gonna need? Put that to-do list together. Everybody gets to have their own month. I think we have 12 people. 12 people can you're the lead on this, you know? Just make sure we're on top of our stuff, and things are getting together. We have the inventory list, all that stuff is ready. We'll be set. Like, social events will just happen like that in this community, which is really what we all want.
What about, nothing to do with the event, but why can't we just start once a month food truck event? Food truck night.
Yeah.
It's free, it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, not all food trucks though.
Well,
Some-
yes, but we want the free one.
Correct. So we would have to have our list, like our
And
premier
if
list.
they do well, they'll come back again.
yeah, because it is, as long as they can charge the people for what they're getting.
Well, some of the food trucks, what they'll do is you can go online and order your food ahead, so they kind of know what they have to bring and what they're serving. So if we have a list of food trucks, we can kind of go on, look at the menu, and pick out what we want from each food truck and order it already and already pay them.
But it would be one truck once a month, so it'd be a different truck every month, right?
Well, why
Or
does it
just
have to
two
be
different,
one? Why
two,
can't
just
it
two
be
non-competing types of food.
Has anybody
They
ever
would
been
have to
one
be that.
property? Because I've never been, but I know they have food truck night, well, I think it's numerous. I've never
Abaco
been to it.
has
Well,
food.
Abaco.
They have a food truck Friday night.
No, I just,
Yeah.
I used to live in
I,
Abaco.
I think it's what, once a
That
month or
was
something like
huge
that?
though, they had like 50 food
Yeah.
trucks, but that was like a main street.
Yeah.
Or just a community, we could do it all around.
Yeah.
The back area, we kind of want to do the sports area, we can put the trucks, or we could just even put them in the front.
Just have them go around that circle, and just like 3 or 4 of them. And
It's awesome. They do it in Copley, they love it.
I think we should try it out. I mean, if we have a successful first one, I don't see why we couldn't do it once a month.
It's so fun.
we do one barbecue one, one taco one, and one Mr.
Well,
Softy, and
we
we're
have-
good.
we have a few trucks, it could be different, you can have an Italian truck, a Mexican truck, a barbecue truck, you know, just themed.
Yeah,
And
you
just kind of-
do a themed one. Okay, this month it's it's with Cinco de Mayo. We're gonna do the Mexican food trucks.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the Italian food
And
trucks.
we know somebody with a barbecue truck.
Yeah, and then just do over the summer. Let's do a barbecue theme. Whatever.
Yeah. We had that list from Castle. I think there's even more than that. They continue to pop up, at least from what I see. So, yeah, I don't see why not. I just, when do you think we should try that out?
It doesn't matter, if you can find food trucks, you could do it next month, it just all depends on
Okay.
if we can find food trucks to do it, because I don't know how far in advance these things go.
Well, it might not be a bad idea is to shoot for Labor Day is the next big
Like
holiday.
back to school.
Yeah, so Labor Day weekend. Do a food truck event that weekend. Try and
But then
shoot
we
for
have
that
to pick
weekend.
a date up, like I think like Friday, probably like Thursday nights or Friday nights, are usually the best for people
tend to get the food trucks to come for nothing, probably a weekday is probably better
Right.
than a weekend.
Exactly, where they're not busy,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
But then we do the same day every month, we should charge you for, so it's food truck night this night. And everybody kind of knows in the community, oh, it's food truck night, it just gets everybody together, socialize.
Do you think that it should be batched with something else though? Like, are they gonna just take their food and sit in the clubhouse, or should it be?
If they want,
Yeah.
or around the pool area.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or just go back home, they just bring back, pick it up and go home, whatever they want.
Bring games in here or have games out there if the weather's nice.
Because we're gonna try and do movie nights, which is like one of the easiest things we could do. Since we have a screen, we have a projector, we have everything for that. So I wonder if maybe we can actually have, it'd have to cool off a little bit, but that area that's out there, have the food trucks in the field,
Yes.
and then use the tennis courts again, like we did at Christmas for the movie night, where you can
That's
set.
the area.
No, but once the field is finished
Right,
with, now because the top lot and everything's going over there,
Mhm.
are you gonna have a place where the food trucks build you can go?
well, they would have to go in the front if after that, and in the street.
Yeah, maybe along that
So where that, what's that pumping station that's sitting over there? Just outside that?
No, I don't know if I would fit them over there. I would say like on the street actually, I would just keep them on Swallowtail, have them lined up, because that's a empty
But-
street, there's no
Is that gonna
houses.
block traffic?
No, people have to be able to get back there to their houses.
No, I know, I wouldn't block the whole street, but you could block one side and people could come around. If it's only 3 food trucks, I don't see it being a problem. That's a long stretch right there.
It is.
Swallowtail. If it was on a curb, I would say I wouldn't do it. But on a straightaway for one evening with the heads up, I don't see that.
Especially when you have the courts, it'll be so fun.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, as wide as the sidewalk is down there, they could probably even pull right onto the sidewalk and be off the street and, yeah. Because the sidewalk, you can fit a car on that sidewalk without it being in the grass.
I think it's a good idea now though to find like the vendors. Yeah, exactly. Have our sort of preferred vendor
So we
list.
know each month, and then they're gonna start finding out, they're gonna start calling us,
Yeah.
because that's what happened. They'll start emailing Courtney,
Right.
like, hey, we wanna do the food truck, what month do you have? And we'll start probably
Right.
going like that,
Okay.
you know.
All right, cool. So, if Courtney was here tonight, she would have told us what our current social budget is. I don't have that off the top of my head right now. I know that we sat down with Michael after the party and they did the deductions from that event. We actually spent less than we had anticipated, so that was pretty good. So I wanted to look at that and then we can try and apply from kind of like priority event down. Priority event being our Christmas event, it's one of our biggest events of the year. And then looking at these others. So I'm just gonna go through though in order here. So after this month's patriotic potluck pool party, we're going into August and school I believe starts on the 12th. So what we're gonna do is kind of pre-back to school party. That's more of a movie night, family movie, kids can enjoy. You can do it actually out here at the pool, and we want to make it a dive-in movie night where you can float in the pool and watch at the same time. We already walked out like the logistics of where the screen will be, where the projector will be, and it all works great. So I think that would be a really fun experiment just to see how that works. We're gonna hire 2 actually lifeguards. We're gonna have a lifeguard maybe pull monitor back out here only because it'll be nighttime. A lot of people may be floating in the pool, a lot of floats on the surface. So to have an extra set of eyes for a night like that would be just much safer. So that's kind of how we're gonna play that one out. And we have, you know, the 2 that came were great. So we have access to them, which is nice. So that would be August 9th. And I plan to get a little announcement out before, you know, the last week of July, at least, or actually 2 weeks prior. Any questions about that event? Okay. Like I said, I think that's gonna be low key. Won't need a ton of volunteer action. We'll have the popcorn machine running. We're gonna keep it where no food in the pool. So if you want to eat, you can eat on the outskirts of it. We're gonna set up all the chairs and stuff out there too. But other than that, you know, bring your own floats. We'll have floats, some noodles, and I think it'll be fun. The next one, an adults only event. So Michael's really been pushing for this, and a lot of people think this would be a great idea. I think, I remember it was Tara or somebody had mentioned a wine tasting. So I think, yeah, that would be fantastic. I've never hosted one before, so I don't know where to begin with this. I know that my wife, when she was running the social committee, she had trivia nights that were a big success. I think there was a good chunk of people in this room. I came to one that was actually really fun. So we could do something like that. So I think in terms of doing like a tasting, we just need to know who's going to be the sort of winery or the distillery or whatever it is, who's going to be the sponsor of that event. Do we make it a ticketed event? And if so, all right, how much is that going to cost, and how do we ticket that? How do we organize that?
I think you can keep it pretty simple. Like, I've been to the neighborhood wine tasting party, and everybody just kind of brings a bottle. You bring a red or a white, or you can bring both. What you have to invest in is just the covers that go on it. So you cover it, and then you number the bottles everywhere. You have different stations, and then people have their scorecard, and they just walk around and sip. And everyone, and then whoever picks the winning wines, they win a little bit of a prize. Whatever you want to put, like it could be very nominal, you
Okay.
know, but
So it's a
that way
BYOB.
you kind of want to, like everyone wants to bring like their favorite wine because they kind of want to win. But there's really no expense other than like you can go on Amazon and you can buy the wine covers for $30 and you wrap the white wine and
So it's a blind tasting.
it's a blind tasting.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have, I mean, unless you want to get really sophisticated and do like Tuscany wines or Oregon Pinot Noirs or something, but this way everybody brings their own and it's kind of a little bit competitive.
It's definitely
It's
cheaper.
kind of fun. It
I
is.
hosted like an actual tasting at my house where a salon came to the house. I think there was like 10, 12 of us. Like there was, I can look into that. I have his contact info.
Sometimes they won't
It will
sell
definitely be a
bottles.
cost, like it will definitely be a ticketed thing. But he came and he had, you know, however many bottles of wine and talked a little bit about it, and everyone had their, you know, their glass and sniffing, and it was like an educational kind of thing. And then you could do like I'd bring like a charcuterie board or something like that, but definitely more expensive than.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
real homegrown cheap
Yeah.
way. I've done also like
That's cool.
a bourbon tasting like that, which
Well,
is
there's
fun.
a-
And then you get a little like maps where you
Yeah,
show where
that's
each one
cute.
came from. Like you can just print out they're really cheap. But you can do the same like, you know, I don't know, like it is really inexpensive. Like it costs nothing
Yeah, it's
other
right.
than-
That sounds great.
And then it's kind of
Maybe they
fun.
would come here and do it for free,
Yeah.
just to have us try the tequilas and buy tequila.
Yeah, I was
So I
gonna
think
say,
they're-
tequila guy.
yeah, it sounds like
Someone
they're-
talked about that before,
Yeah.
a sip tequila event.
So what I hear, it sounds like there are 3 approaches to this. So we could do this kind of the homegrown version, which is everybody brings their own bottle, and it's covered with some cover. So
Yeah.
if you find like what that is, you know,
I can show you. They're
Yeah.
really cute.
that we could try that version of it. Hiring a som, I think would be really cool. I personally would love to nerd out on like
Yeah.
what they know
Yeah.
and how they know what they know. You know,
For
that's
sure.
It's really cool, and then everyone is drinking and having.
It's a course or
food.
something that they have to take.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's really cool, but I have a guy that I can see if he's still doing it. And
Yeah,
I'll ask
please.
him. I just don't, he'll need to have an idea of how many people, how many do you even think? Like,
That would be.
that would probably be a
That's
popular
awesome.
event. Yeah.
right? So he's probably.
I'm sure it would be a popular event. It's just a question of how many people would show up.
Yeah.
You have to.
Or you have to buy your ticket.
So
Like,
what we
this
would do
like-
is we would put the blast out. We're gonna have a wine tasting event with professional sommelier, and we need to know in advance who's gonna be here. So RSVP by a date.
Right.
If we get that head count, we say it's like 20 people. Guess what? We're going to do it yourself. You know?
Yeah, but they're just like, I mean, you can get holiday ones. They're just numbered.
Okay.
So then you have like a scorecard.
Nice.
That 1, 2, and you don't know what you're drinking, but you just, and then it does on the scorecard say like a score from 1 to 10, like where would you rank it?
Okay.
And somebody just adds up.
Where do you
and
put the
that's
wine
it.
in? Do you have little plastic cups or you carry around a wine glass? Or do you-
Yeah, you can order the little plastic. I hate drinking out of plastic.
Yeah.
So I'm a little snob. But I mean that you can
Would it
buy
be bring your own
those.
glass and just have a rinse station?
Well, what if you don't like it?
Yeah, you could. I mean, we have a sink.
Spot.
I mean, you could. And then and then you do have a receptacle where you can pour it if you don't like it, and then you get those little cheap crackers, you know, that you put.
Like the oyster
once
crackers?
the- Yeah, the oyster crackers.
And
Yeah.
the only thing about that is depending on how many people show up, you might have to bring more than one bottle.
My experiences with this is that everybody brings it and then
Are they like 1 ounce, 2 ounce pours? How do they?
It
well,
doesn't
it starts out very professional, but I'll tell you by the end of the night, people aren't going through the 30 bottles that are there. They're kind of going back to it, and nobody ever finishes them, you know. But it's more just to kind of create the mystery and try something new, you know. But it was I went to a complete stranger's house, and I had like, the best time. Yeah, it was really fun.
That's cool. So I think the third option would be to reach out to some local places, facilities that maybe make or serve that would be interested in hosting an event at a certain head count with a certain number, right? Whatever it would cost per head.
Yeah, they got that place downtown, the downtown store.
Yeah, that's the fitness vodka, right?
Muscle vodka.
Muscle
Oh,
vodka.
I thought about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Well, then there's
Yeah.
the Fraser Brewing Company, the beer one. There's Ocean. Didn't the person at Ocean Republic? Didn't
They
they
sold
live in
it.
here? Oh, they sold
They
it.
did, yeah.
Okay. That's another option too.
I actually went to a really cool event, this was years ago, at Barrel of Monks down in Boca Raton, which is a Belgian brewery.
Yeah,
And
actually, I did.
they would do these really neat beer pairing dinners, but they were beer pairing battles. So they invited another brewery in Florida or even outside of the state to come and compete against them. And they hired either a chef or a food truck vendor or somebody to put together like a 4 or 5 course menu. But each brewery had to choose 4 beers from their arsenal blindly. And then they had to pair 1 out of the 4 per meal. So they had to kind of be a little bit strategic. Our job as the patrons, you would taste both beers and you would vote which one paired best with the meal. And at the very end, whoever won got kind of the bragging
That's
rights.
cool.
But it was a really neat event. And I'd love to reach out and say, like, what would it cost per head to come like and do that? Because he used a food truck vendor. The food truck vendor would park right there. They bring their beers.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's awesome. That sounds really
Might be a little more expensive, but might be a cool thing to try out.
Or
one
you
time.
could do it with a chili cook-off too.
My dad just did that. He
Those are
won.
fun. You just have crock pots everywhere.
Yeah.
You could do surveys too, just send them out and ask
Like
everybody.
who?
what they
Yeah,
want.
that's good.
Like,
What do you want? Yeah.
would you pay for a ticketed event if it was something cool like this?
That's
Yeah,
a good
like-
idea.
Like how much would you be
Uh-huh.
willing to pay? That sort of thing.
So
Yeah.
we kind of have an idea, people would like that.
Yeah.
I've also seen where ABC Wine or Total Wine, one of them does like free wine tastings every so often.
Right,
in
at
their
Total Wine,
store.
right.
So I don't know if they would come here because then they'd have more people do the wine tasting. And I don't think they charge for
Sometimes
that.
it's free if people will buy bottles after. So
Yeah.
they're just trying to get you to taste it.
Right.
And then they have bottles to sell.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
usually
so
at
they
the
were about
store
selling
though.
it.
Yeah,
I
they're
never got
there,
them
they're
everywhere.
there for you to taste it, and if you like it, they have the bottles and you can buy
Yeah, I
them.
think they usually do that when it's a new product too.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we're onto something for an adult-only event. We're looking in September. There's nothing really planned for September, so we should, start doing.
About anything, and me and my husband, they all sound fun.
Yeah. So we'll just do some research and try and find what we can find. I think as of right now, if you want to talk to your guy, I think that do it yourself. I mean, I think it's pretty simple, right? How would
Yeah, I
you?
can put some slides together so you can kind of see how it works,
Yeah.
but it was really easy.
Okay.
And it was a really good mixer because people who didn't know each other would walk up and like, have you tried 3? No, I haven't tried that. So it was really easy.
Yeah.
Although the same thing is when people are learning, they
Yeah.
love that too. I mean, I would love to.
Yeah, it's really. It's
But
cool.
if you're going an inexpensive way,
I've
That's
done one
what
at
I
home,
pick.
like you said, where you do individual bottles, everybody brings one. and-
right, so everybody's
Right.
in, that's kind of their price of admission, by bringing the bottle, so, and then you let them know, like, okay, your like, they know their number,
Mhm.
so they know at the end of the night if they won,
Yeah.
and you don't have to give a prize, I mean, there's kind of just bragging rights, like, I got the best, and you can set, like, a dollar limit at it, too, so, like, but it's fun.
All right, awesome. Okay, then next month is October, so I'm thinking intermittently we had a movie night 2 months before then, we'll just do a Halloween movie night, very simple. We can dress up, have like Halloween candy theme, things like that, and we'll play something that's family friendly, maybe Nightmare Before Christmas-esque, you know, of that caliber.
Come on, play your scary movie. Come on.
Yeah. Friday the 13th.
Yeah, especially in the pool.
I think it would be fun to do like more of like an adult rated R movie for something that's really popular. No kids under a certain age, but we'll have to see how these
Oh, I'm
other
sure.
movies
My son would get a bunch of teenage boys. He wanted to do stations where they jump scare people walking around. I think he's got a Scream mask. He's got a Jason
It'd
mask.
be
He's
fun.
got, yeah.
Just throw it in random times during a movie.
Random times, he would, yeah.
That sounds fun. All right, so that would be actually pretty easy to get organized and set up. Like I said, we have everything for that. It would just be a matter of shopping for if we wanted to like, you know, provide some food or snacks or things like that. And then after that, this is just a random idea, but I thought for November doing a turkey run would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it would be
That would be
fun.
You know, it's starting to cool off. We
Yeah.
can try and map out in our community what would be, you know, 5 kilometers, and we can do what you said, like little water stations, or
Yeah.
even if it's not water stations, it'd be like a fun, like, you know, you get dunked, you know, on or something by a neighbor. Who knows? But we can actually set that up and invite people in advance who would want to participate in this. It doesn't have to be a running event. We can have the walkers, the
Yeah.
runners, the sprinters.
Or even for little kids, you do
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the quick little, you know.
So we're gonna probably need more volunteers for something like that.
I'm in town for Thanksgiving, so
Okay.
I can do that.
And we want to do it definitely like at least in advance of having to prepare for Thanksgiving and all that. So I think at least 2 weeks prior to that, so maybe the start of November makes sense for something of this nature.
Yeah, if you gotta do that, because those are usually done in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could always have it end here
Right.
and have a breakfast.
Not a bad idea. Just break that grill back out, make some eggs,
Yeah.
toast some things.
We could do like a continental breakfast or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just bagels, cream cheese, coffee, fruit.
Keep it simple.
Okay, not a bad idea. Okay,
I
awesome.
mean, there's all kinds of things you can do for it.
Have a good coffee vendor come out too, which might be nice. Coffee truck. Yeah. Okay.
I have something else. We've only been here a year now, but have you guys ever done, like, for the holidays, to have, like, vendors come in and sell their little stuff for, like, holiday gifts and things?
Like neighbor
Like
vendors?
craft vendor? No, just like, yeah, anyone, just they come in to sell for the community to come shopping.
Oh.
Almost like their own little green market.
But stuff that's geared to, like, the holidays, like, for shopping. Even, like, the teenagers can come in and pick up stuff, like, a parent and
Sure.
family. I've seen it, I used to live in Jupiter, we used to do one, it was cute, but they had women who sell ornaments, the tree, it's all cute, like,
My kids used to have that in school.
yeah.
They used to set up like a
Throw
certain
the
thing
check
like
back and get
right
it.
before the holidays so that they could buy food for their families and their parents.
Things that would break as soon as you touch
And you
them.
have to keep it.
Oh, I know.
Somebody had suggested looking to see if we had any vendors or people who own small businesses in the community. Or maybe like having it be more of a neighborly gathering where people can bring, if they make their own,
Right.
whatever it is.
Exactly, like some people make like desserts and cookies and things like that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I know there's a whoopie pie vendor somewhere in this community.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Actually,
Oh, I think I saw
I make
that.
nuts.
You make
I do, there's a thing
Yeah.
back nuts that I make for everybody for Christmas.
Yeah, but for like holidays, that's cute.
Sure.
People,
Yeah.
and
Awesome.
again, another free also thing.
Yeah, that then comes down to just organization. So
Right.
it's
Mm-hmm.
the challenge is communicating with everyone and making sure everybody is on page.
Right.
So yeah, we have to really
They
test
bring their
that.
own tables and their own,
Yeah.
you know, all that stuff.
Oh, and I want to circle back because I had mentioned this the last meeting, but I think it would be fun to try and do a group fitness class. But I'm thinking we may have to wait till it cools off a little bit, although in early morning. But I asked my sister, who teaches hydro fitness or water aerobics at like Lifetime Fitness, what it would be per head. She's a professional, so it's not cheap to do something like that. But I think it's worth considering, maybe as it does cool off, that we can either use the screen and actually stream some sort of class of some sort, or we can maybe hire somebody to come out for a day, whether it's once a month or something like that, to do like a boot camp or something. So something like that to consider as well. All right, and then
Well, you have Andrea that lives in the neighborhood with Lotus Lot. I mean, she's got, I don't know, I should
She's-
talk to
Or,
her.
yeah,
To do a yoga class.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but she also does like other, like they have other courses just
They have,
other
like,
than
dance
yoga.
stuff and
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So that's in line with, like, I wanted to put out some blast trying to collect information for anyone who wants to share that they have a small business they would like to be a
Right,
vendor
I think
for
that's a
events
really
or-
good idea, cause it'd be good exposure for her too, like I can't speak for her,
Yeah.
but I know her 10-year anniversary's coming up, so.
Okay, yeah.
But, I'll
So,
ask.
I think it's just an open invitation. If somebody say, oh man, I've been wanting to, share my sort of tchotchkes with the community, well, let us know and we'll, consider you for other events. Like if we're gonna have, let's say, a bring your own wine, that's a perfect opportunity to also say, hey, if you wanna bring your whoopie pies or, your homemade lemonade or whatever it might be, come and do that, and you can sell it if you wanna sell it, or you can come and share it. But it would be something to, offer.
That's funny. Cause we were in estate planning, so I was like, well, maybe I should do a wine and wills night.
There you go.
I will be there.
That's a great pairing.
Yeah.
I'll use that word.
A wine and trust night. Drink a little more, you trust me more.
So December then is, I would like to just copy paste what we did last year. I thought that was really good. The only challenge I think was that there was a lot in one night and trying to figure out how to maybe space that out a little bit differently. I was not here to be a part of it, but Courtney said, even though it was a success, it was just a little chaos for those who were volunteering.
I don't know.
So what they did, it was, they hosted dinner, so they catered in dinner, I think it was like pasta or Italian, and then they had the movie screen set up on the tennis court, so they showed the Grinch on the screen, and they had popcorn and stuff set up over there on the tennis courts, and then when the movie ended, they did the lights tour.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was a lot, I think it still worked out, but I think there's maybe a better way we could try and organize this, or maybe we split it up and we keep it how it was. Instead of doing Christmas movie night that night, we just do it a different night in December. That's an easy thing to do, is set up a movie. So maybe that's how we do it this time, is we just break it up, and then we can have like a Christmas party in here, invite Santa Claus, kind of decorate a little bit, and have it kind of where this is the starting point for doing the Christmas light tour. So maybe it's like an hour of just mingling and eating and whatever, and then the tour takes off.
Yeah, why don't you do the dinner with the light night, and then do the movie in its own night?
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So,
And if you're gonna have kids here, see if the fire department will drop off Santa.
yeah, that's right.
Because we actually do that all the time for events in Boca. We gotta go pick them up and then drop them off at a community center or wherever he's doing his event. But we show up in the fire truck, dropping off Santa for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, or we know somebody who can make snow. I thought that would be kind of cool too. Because I think we had, it was like the soapy kind. I believe we had one year.
They have companies though that actually make the snow,
Yeah.
you order it.
Right.
A lot of the community, Egrets has done it before, other communities in Jupiter, and when my kids were little, they used to do it. It was really cute, especially with people who've never seen snow. It's exciting.
Right.
I remember of a friend of mine, he almost had did it one time to where the company would come out like overnight and make it like a white Christmas and do your whole yard for you. And it would last a couple hours.
That might be a better idea than spending the money on anything else. They might like the snow thing even better.
Yeah.
It sounds like super cool.
Get two huge piles of snow and have a snowball fight.
Set it up. It's cute.
All right. Well,
Just hopefully it's cool enough to
Well, that's,
sustain it.
you never know. Every year's different.
so a lot of great things to play around with. So I think the moment this next party is passed, we can start looking into the following month, and then just kind of domino like that. I think there are some things we want to be proactive with the holiday party and the adults only event. But beyond that, I think it should just be like making sure we have at least 3 or 4 weeks of planning time prior to each one. So that's kind of the window of time I think is the best to work out of. All right, any questions about any of those sort of spitballing of events? No? Okay. And then recreational, I mentioned the group fitness class. I was thinking a nutritional health seminar in the same vein as like a turkey run. Just a healthier community is a happier community. I think as we continue to kind of make advances with the gym area, you know, we're going to have more recreational stuff. I think it's just going to naturally come into play that we want to do things that are health conscious for our community. Let's provide
A
opportunities.
good time to showcase that is when we decide to say, okay, we're gonna close the gym, revamp it, reopen it, and have it, like, for lack of a better term, like the grand reopening for the fitness center.
Yeah.
That's when you can turn around and sit there and say, okay, now we're gonna add this, we're gonna add this. We're gonna have this type of, you know, gym orientation if you'd like to go to it,
Sure.
you know, and things like that, you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have it all coincide with, you know, with that event.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good point. Okay. That's pretty much it. Anyone else have any thoughts or ideas, suggestions? Anything that they've been thinking about, social-wise, rec-wise? No? All right. I think that's good. We'll call it. Thank you all for being here. Have a good night.
And you'll send us off that guy's
Good
proposal.
to see you on the way home. Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you.